Thank you. And if I could just, everyone remain standing for a moment of silence for Carol Valenti, who was a longtime Malden City employee who passed away last week. Thank you. As usual, please turn off any cell phones or put it on vibrate. Anyone with hats, which I don't see, please remove for the duration of the meeting. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Anderson, Bucci, Christensen,
Here.
Condon, DePietro, Fallon, Kinnon, Murphy, Nestor, Spatafora, Lucy.
Here. First order of business.
The minutes for the City Council meeting of September 6, 2011.
On Councilor Christian's motion to approve the minutes, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Dear members of the Council, pursuant to the provisions of law, I hereby appoint Vance Bertusco of 11 Oliver Street, Malden, Massachusetts, as a member of the Planning Board, said term to expire March 1st, 2014. Mr. Bertusco will complete the term of Robert Foley, who recently resigned as a member of the Planning Board. Very truly yours, Richard C. Howard, Mayor. Confirmation is required.
On Councilor Bucci's motion to refer to Committee of Appointments, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nominations referred to Committee on Appointments. Next order of business.
Application for license to drive a taxi cab, John P. Walters, 5 Hancock Street, Everett.
On Councilor Anderson's motion to refer to license, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to license.
Be it ordained that Section 200.2 of Chapter 12 of the Revised Ordinances of 1991 be further amended by rezoning a certain parcel of land from Residence A to Highway Business. Councilor Bucci.
Councilor Bucci, for the paper.
To refer to ordinance, please.
Okay, thank you. On Councilor Bucci's motion to refer to ordinance, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Oh, it's going to go to planning, too. I'm sorry. I apologize for these microphones. They don't seem like they're working too well tonight. They're on, huh?
Ordered that the mayor adopt and implement certain recommendations from the Department of Revenue Financial Management Review dated March 2011. Councilor Nestor.
Councilor Nestor for the paper.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a procedural matter. We have received and went through the Department of Revenue report, and we went through, the Finance Committee went through every recommendation one by one, brought in the department heads. These are the recommendations that were sent around to the council. It was given out previously before our summer break. It was given back to the council again this morning for review, and these are the ones that came out positively. So procedurally, we need to have a resolve and move it back into finance so that we can discuss it and move out the final recommendations on the resolve. So this is just a procedure matter. I'd like to move it to finance.
Okay, any questions for Councilor Nestor? Seeing no lights on Councilor Nestor's motion, refer to finance. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers removed with the finance.
Ordered that the city submit to the Massachusetts Legislature for passage an act relative to creditable retirement service for non-working members of the Police Reserve in the city of Malden. Councilor DePietro.
Councilor DePietro for the paper.
Thank you, Council President. I asked that this be referred to the Ordinance Committee. Currently, right now, if someone is on a reserve police force list and he didn't work at all, he would be eligible to receive up to 5 years of credited service in the pension system. So I would like to see if we could correct this loophole, I would call it, and also it would protect police reserves who do work if the police reserves were reestablished, and that it would benefit the city. We would be training police officers, and they would be receiving a fair pension for up to 5 years, even if they weren't confirmed. So I'd ask this to be referred to the ordinance committee for study, and then if it would pass the total council, that we would send it off to the legislature for approval.
Okay, any questions of Councilor DePietro? Seeing no lights on Councilor DePietro's motion, refer to ordinance. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to ordinance.
Thank you.
Ordered that the ordinance committee consider amending council rules to allow for public comment at every council meeting. Councilor Fallon.
Councilor Fallon for the paper.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This, we've had this on the docket previously. We wanted to bring it up again, and it speaks for itself. There are, I'd like this to go to ordinance for review, but just to speak on it for a moment, our neighboring communities do have opportunities for our citizens to have public comment. Medford has a terrific program, for example, where they fill out a form, and in the same way that we would sponsor something on the docket, they fill out the form, it goes to the clerk's office, and the clerk adds it to the docket so that the council is prepared for what the subject matter is going to be that a citizen wants to speak of, or whatever the concern is. And it's just kind of added to the docket. So that's kind of a preferred method of mine, but I'd like to see if we could explore it. Melrose has something different where they open up their city council meetings with an opportunity for citizens to just come up before the microphone for 2 minutes and speak to whatever issues they want to raise. So, again, it speaks for itself. If we could move this to ordinance and take a look at it, I think it's a value.
Thank you, Councilor Fallon. Any question for Councilor Fallon? Seeing no lights on Councilor Fallon's motion, refer to ordinance. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to ordinance.
Ordered that the chairman of the Board of Assessors appear before the council on October 4th to discuss the process and procedure for residential tax abatements. Councilor Murphy.
Councilor Murphy for the paper.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I would like the chairman of the Board of Assessors to come in to speak to the Finance Committee about the process and procedure around residential tax abatement, the actual, prorating of abatement for new folks who move into the city, and also how when a piece of property is sold or a piece of property becomes a non-owner occupied dwelling, what the process is that surrounds that in the assessor's office, so that we make sure that we are adequately monitoring this situation. So I'd like to refer it to Finance for further discussion.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Any question for Councilor Murphy? Seeing no lights on Councilor Murphy's motion to adopt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers adopted, and we'll ask Mr. Donnelly to appear October 4th.
Resolved as the sense of the City Council that the Superintendent of Schools appear before the City Council to discuss Boston Magazine's evaluation of school districts statewide. Councilor Nestor.
Councilor Nestor for the paper.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was an article that recently came out in Boston Magazine, was rebutted by school committee member Altrino, and I'd just like to extend the opportunity to the new superintendent to come and give his thoughts on this, and maybe a rebuttal on this as well. So just an opportunity, if he feels comfortable enough in the short time he's been in the role, to come and discuss this matter, so that the public can see exactly what they're doing and his thoughts on this matter.
Thank you. I'm sure it won't be a rebuttal, it'll be an explanation. Any questions for Councilor Nestor? See no lights on Councilor Nestor's motion to pass. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We'll ask the superintendent to appear before the City Council at a later date. Next order of business.
Resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission develop and implement a policy for designating on-street spaces at appropriate locations near the T-station for use by mobile food trucks. Councilor Christensen.
Councilor Christensen for the paper.
Briefly, Mr. President, in this era of competing more than ever for new businesses to come to our community, there is one now called, I think it's Go Fish. They're a gourmet food truck, and they've been very successful in Boston and Cambridge. And this business here would like to try and do something with our community. The even better news is the owner of the newly formed company is from Malden. And so he's looking to the council or to the city to try and create some zones that would allow his business to be able to, cater to our residents. And so what I'd like to do is work with the Economic Development Committee that you established to see if we can come up with some zones that would be palatable to the existing business community and hopefully, incorporate this new business that wants to, conduct its operation here in Malden. So we'll be working with our city clerk, Karen Anderson, the Economic Development Committee, and report back to the full council. If it were the council's wishes to try and do something, then we would submit it to the Traffic Commission for final approval.
Thank you, Councilor Christensen. Any questions for Councilor Christensen? Seeing no lights on Councilor Christensen's motion to refer to Economic Development Committee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Papers referred to Economic Development Committee.
Resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission install crosswalks at appropriate intervals along the entire length of Forest Street. Councilor Murphy.
Councilor Murphy for the paper.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Forest Street in Malden is 0.8 of a mile long. There are currently 2 crosswalks, one at the corner of Main and Forest, and the other one in front of McFadden Manor, right where Malden meets Melrose. We all know it's a very windy road. There's a tremendous amount of pedestrian traffic that goes up and down this street on a daily basis, and there are no safe places to cross. I would like the Traffic Commission to look at Forest Street and really take a hard look at it to see if there's any logical places to install some crosswalks to give pedestrians appropriate places to cross in safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. On Councilor Murphy's motion to pass, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to Traffic.
Resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission take steps to increase visibility of the traffic signal at the intersection of Mountain Ave and Main Street, either by replacing the existing signal with a hanging signal or by installation of appropriate signage. Councilor Nestor.
Councilor Nestor for the paper.
Thank you. Just like to refer this to traffic for further discussion.
On Councilor Nestor's motion to refer to Traffic, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to Traffic.
The claim of Cosmo Redzikowski, 17 Menlo Ave, Lynn.
On Councilor Nestor's motion to refer to Finance, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Claims referred to Finance.
Under suspension of docket rules, resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission restrict one-way traffic patterns around Linden School to hours when school is in session. Councilor Bucci.
Councilor Bucci's motion to suspend docket rules. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Rules are suspended. Councilor
Please
Bucci.
refer to Traffic.
On Councilor Bucci's motion to refer to Traffic. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to Traffic.
Under suspension of docket rules, application for transfer of a Class 2 dealer's license to Malden Auto Brokers at 225 Eastern Ave.
On Councilor Anderson's motion to suspend docket rules. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Councilor Anderson. On Councilor Anderson's motion to refer to license. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to license.
Under suspension of docket rules, ordered that the sum of $50,000 being the same as hereby transferred from revenue reserve to highway gasoline. That $100,000 is transferred from revenue reserve to police overtime. That $30,000 be transferred from the following accounts: $945.36 from Fire Department Pumper Capital Account, $1,133 from Fire Department Engine Account, $4,125.93 from Fire Ladder Truck Repair Account, $23,795.71 from Revenue Reserve Account to Fire Apparatus Repair, and that $3,924.84 be transferred from legislative salary to compliance miscellaneous. Councilor Nestor.
On Councilor Nestor's motion to suspend docket rules. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Councilor Nestor for the paper.
I'd like to refer all 4 of these papers to Finance.
Okay, on Councilor Nestor's motion to refer papers to Finance. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Papers referred to Finance.
Docket is clear.
Docket is clear. Personal privilege. Yep, I'm going to do that. before we go to personal privileges, we had someone on the docket tonight, the Department of Conservation and Recreation. They couldn't make it, so we're going to ask them to appear at another day. Personal privilege, just you'd have to speak up, and again, I apologize for the microphones tonight. They just don't seem to be high on the volume, and I'll start on my right. Council Bucci.
Thank you. I just want to take a moment to give a shout out, as Councilor Anderson would say. Give a shout out. I don't think it's working. Oh, okay. Just give a shout out to local Malden resident Naomi Brave. I think a lot of us are familiar with her. Familiar with her as well as the work she does. But we are now closing the second phase of the switch boxes, and we have 34 of them done. So, again, we're trying to now set up a bit of a design or a map so that folks in the city can actually now take a walk and start to explore a little bit of the wonderful landscape changes. But a real big thank you to Naomi for continuing to carry this particular initiative on. I think we're down to about 10 boxes left and all will be done. So she's starting to think about her next project, which we certainly are starting to do as well. And lastly, for me, is a couple things. I have a meeting going to take place at Linden, October 26th at 6:30 with the local residents and our neighborhood watch, and another meeting with Linden, which we will be promoting a little bit more with other uses of the public media vehicles to address an important quality of life issue that has been ongoing in that area, is slated for October 6th at 6:30 at the Linden School to meet with myself, the Board of Health, and some other folks who are giving us a hand with the issues that we're dealing with. And lastly, I do want to just announce and want to give a big thank you to Brian Biggie of the MATV folks. We have launched a pilot program, which was a priority for the Citizens Engagement Committee from the start of it 4 years ago, thanks to Councilor Christensen. But we are now, I'm asking folks to tune in to MATV. We now have a show called the Community and Council, and its purpose is clearly to push information out to the community on different aspects of the work that we are doing as a council. Whether it's about programs that Neil Kinnan chairs in regards to safety, or our other venues that we're doing for economic development, Jim Nestor with downtown revitalization, and simply some of the work that we're doing. But if you could just tune in, I will certainly be planning a meeting with the CEC, the Citizen Engagement Committee, to review it. But it first run at it, and I want to thank President of the City Council, Greg Lucy, for joining me there to pretty much launch it and explain what it is to the public. As we know, various ways around engagement isn't just about the government side of it, it's also getting involved in the community. So tune into it. I think people will be somewhat informed about some good work that's going on here in the chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bucci. Councilor Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, just want to congratulate the Walam Kung Fu and Tai Chi Academy for celebrating 5 years right here in the city of Malden. So if you see my do, hats off to her and her program. It's really taken off, and so we're very pleased about that news. And then the second is the annual Bread of Life Walk for Bread will take place Sunday, October 2nd at Pine Banks Park. And if anybody wants more information, they can call 781-397-0404. And just one final note, Mr. President. Can't say enough about the open houses I visited last week. First, the Linden School with Judy Bucci, the counselor from Ward 8. Can't be happier for the new principal there. Couldn't find a parking spot, and to me that's a good sign that people are really taking education seriously. And then the final one is I went from there to the Ferryway School, and they were in the same condition as the Linden School with, standing room only. And I think, the results can be found in today's MCAS scores, which were just released by the Commonwealth. And the statistics for the Ferryway School, which, where I spend most of my time, so I've been able to see this transformation, which, Principal DeVito, the teachers, the staff, everybody up there should be commended. 91% of all students passed the English Language Arts portion of MCAS, and 86% passed the math portion of MCAS. And science, they're number one in the city. So I just want to, hard work and dedication are the keys to success, and they're showing that up at the Ferryway Schools. So I just want to compliment them, along with the other schools, but that's where I spend the most time, and couldn't be prouder of them and their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Christensen. On my left. Council Fallon.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple of us had the opportunity to attend the flag burning ceremony. Councilor Christensen, you and I attended that the other day, hosted by the American Legion. And the Legion, once again, has asked me to promote to our citizens that if you have a family member who is deployed and serving our country overseas, there is a Blue Star Ribbon program that the Legion would be happy to have people involved with. So if you're looking for information on that program, feel free to give me a call at 781-605-3594. Secondly, next Wednesday, there will be a public safety community meeting held and sponsored by the Malden Firefighters Union Local 902. And the council, as well as anyone who would like to participate, is welcome to attend that meeting. That meeting will take place at 6:30, again next Wednesday night on September 28th at the Jackson Suite Function Hall, which is in by the Malden Emergency Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Fallon. Okay, seeing no other lights, this meeting will adjourn, but there is the Public Safety Committee recess, so they'll be taking up their items in the back room, so anyone is welcome